Hey, welcome to 24 Chambers of Film. Today we got a movie review of the new Netflix film, Emilia Perez. Directed by Jacques Audiard. It stars Selena Gomez, Zoe Saldana, Karla, Sofía Gascón, and Edgar Ramirez is in this movie for, not too long, but he's in it. So
Plays a crucial role.
he plays a crucial role. But yeah, for Netflix film. I mean, Netflix bought it and is distributing it. So yeah, it just dropped, and let's get into it. Nate, what is your initial thoughts of Emilia Perez? Which, by the way, has a lot of hype coming into it in the sense of the award season. A lot of people are saying it's in the front running, one of the films in the front running of the Oscars. So yeah, what do you think? Let's get into your initial.
So
Initial thoughts.
so for anyone that's not aware, this is a musical.
Mm-hmm.
It's a musical about a cartel leader who wants to transition into a woman and ends up doing that, and it's kind of their life after that transition and
Mm-hmm.
the drama that essentially ensues because of a few actions that take place.
It's a
The
crime
movie,
drama musical, right?
yes,
Yeah.
I will tell you this: the story. I don't think this is an Oscar-worthy movie.
Okay.
I think it is a solid movie, and I'll tell you why. For me, it is not a good movie. I think the story that they have is good. If this were not a musical, this could have been a very, very good movie. Like, very, very, very good movie, in my opinion. The problem that I had is two things. One, a lot of the musical parts are in Spanish, right? So if unless you understand Spanish, it doesn't sound like right to you because you have to read what they're saying in the subtitles. So I can understand Spanish, so it's fine, right? So it's not
Mm-hmm.
a problem. But I don't see how this is going to appeal to someone who doesn't understand Spanish when it's a musical and you have to basically translate in your head and kind of try to pick up the tones and all that kind of stuff. The second part that to me is a problem with this movie is that the musical parts are not made to like enhance the movie. Like they don't make the movie any better. The singing to me is not good. It's like a regular person trying to sing in a few instances. And I thought, to me, I was kind of surprised at that because to me, the whole point of the musical is to show off really good singing, right? But I felt a lot of the time, I'm like, I feel like I could sing just as good as the guy that's singing right now or the girl that's singing right now. And it, like I said, I don't think it added any value to the movie to have any singing. The When it started off, like really, you get a musical scene like right off the rip,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a. As it went on and like the intensity started to pick up in the movie, they started to stray with less. They started to stray away from the musical part, which to me made the movie work better because if they would have kept with the pace of the musical stuff that started at the very beginning, it just wasn't gonna work. Like I said, this is a okay movie for me. It is even
Mm-hmm.
borderline good movie, right? But it's not an Oscar worthy movie in my opinion. I did
Mm-hmm.
not think that. Yeah, I just did not. I don't see. Like I remember you telling me that you got like it was being touted like crazy after the Toronto Film Festival and all that, and I don't see that. I think the story's good, and the story could have been a very good movie if it wasn't a musical. I think the musical part just makes you want to like just messes up the movie in my opinion.
I kind of felt like you were gonna after I watched it. I was like, I don't think Nate is gonna dislike this movie, but I don't think he's gonna love it because I know you're not a fan of musicals, which is fair. It and
Really
I'm
quick, I just watched Joker,
uh-huh.
and here's the thing: that felt like what a musical should feel like to me, even though it didn't even have as much. I felt like this had a lot more singing, but Joker 2 felt more like what I expected. This just felt like just randomness, like let's just start singing right now, like or let's talk in singing tone and it just didn't work.
Okay, so I wholeheartedly disagree with the whole musical element that you're talking about. I don't necessarily disagree with like, did it need to be a musical? No, but that was a aesthetic, artistic choice that they wanted to go. Now, I think they landed the musical. I think it was definitely a better musical than Joker, and I like Joker too. But I felt like, yes, it doesn't, you don't need the musical element to tell this story. I agree 100%. But like I said, that's what we got. It's kind of, it is what it is. And I feel like they at least integrated it in an interesting way. Like there's a scene with the doctor and Zoe Saldana talking. I thought that was
that scene.
I really
thought
liked
that was
scene.
one. That was at the point where I was like, "This is fucking stupid." Exactly at that moment.
No, see, that's what I'm saying.
I was like that.
That's all part of you just not liking musicals, because I thought that was an interesting way to do a musical scene. And they do have those traditional scenes where they break out into musical numbers, and it's just like people in the whole streets or in this, wherever they're at is starting to sing and do all this stuff. I liked it because it adds a little interesting thing where it's just like, oh, just because it's a serious scene, it's not going to be a musical. I like that they took scenes that maybe you would be like, you don't do a musical number in this moment of the movie, but they did do that at times where they had the musical number in a scene that maybe in a more traditional musical, they wouldn't have put music in that scene. You know what I mean? I don't know. I really thought it was done well. And I liked the songs in the movie for the most part, which I was not expecting to like for me.
Here's the thing. To me, if you're going to have motherfuckers singing, they better be able to sing.
And I also disagree with you on that. I feel like they're not all like Selena Gomez knows how to sing. Zoe Saldana knows how to sing. The three leads know how to sing.
I thought Zoe Saldana was.
Okay, first of all, she's the best part of the movie, in my opinion.
I'm talking about her singing.
But her singing her singing was okay,
good. But
no, her singing was good for what it needed to be. I'm not saying she's an amazing singer.
That's what I'm saying. So why are you going to make a musical when you're not going to deliver world-class singing? Like,
I mean, again, they're making a movie. They're not trying to win a Tony or anything like that. They're trying to win an Oscar.
But
they're trying to make a musical movie.
Why make it a musical if you're not going to focus on the singing? On making the singing great.
That logic doesn't make any sense because of what you said about Joker too. Because you say that was done better. Joaquin Phoenix is not a great singer, and it works. I still enjoyed it. You know what I mean? They don't have to be a great. They don't have to be a great singer. And I also am disagreeing with you. I think she's a lot better than what you're claiming. So we're not going to see eye to eye on that for sure. Because
I said she's okay, but I don't think she was great.
Yeah, but at the end, she's a great actor, and at the end of the day, you're gonna go with.
Oh, I'm not talking about her acting not being good.
I know, but I'm saying if I'm gonna go, I'm like, she's the right person, though she's not an amazing singer. She sings good enough to.
Have you seen Chicago?
The scene's great. Yes, I've seen Chicago. Yeah,
the singing in that movie was good, like across the board.
Okay.
This movie, I didn't feel delivered on the singing part of it for it to be a musical. It fell flat on that end for me. And here's the other issue. I felt this movie was 2 hours and 20 minutes. When if you remove the musical
2 hours and 11 minutes.
Well, if you remove the musical numbers, you could probably cut 25 minutes off of that movie.
It would be shorter, yeah, for sure.
And you could potentially work on more character development and stuff like that, So I almost feel
like they had at
personally
least
myself.
The three main ones were good, developed very well, especially Zoe Saldana and Karla.
So I would have liked to know what happened between those 4 years. Like Emilia Perez is like all of a sudden, well, I'm doing business over here, but there's like no explanation as to anything of how anything got done. Like you just lose 4 years. And I feel like it would have been.
That's its own other movie. You know what I mean? I don't think the story that they're trying to tell doesn't. You can really fill in those blanks. She could have invested in business. She obviously had the monies wired to this fake person's name. Like so, you could have equated that to many things. And I feel like if they wanted to, that's its own that's an even longer movie in my opinion. That necessarily need to be in the movie personally. But I get what you're saying. Those are.
I'll tell you, they wouldn't have made it a musical. They would have had an extra 30 minutes.
Maybe, yeah.
Through all that.
But that's the thing. It's not like they're like, oh, let's make it a musical. It's like, oh, I want to make this a musical, this story into a musical. And it was a novel first. I'm looking at Boris Razon did the novel.
At the end of the day, what is your score for this movie?
My score. That's a good question. Like I said, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm going to give it a solid 8.5. It was really strong for me. I honestly, I know you said it was long. I didn't feel the runtime. I thought it actually was. I was kind of worried since it was going to be like a foreign musical that it was going to feel long, but it didn't really feel long to me. So that was a pleasant surprise that I thought the pacing was done well. Like I was captivated by the story enough that it wasn't like feeling like laborious, you know what I mean? I didn't feel like I had to get through the movie, which is good, which I kind of had preconceived feelings that I was going to feel like that, you know what I mean? But luckily I didn't. And like I said, I enjoyed it. Like I said, if you're not into musicals, this is not going to change your mind on musicals. It's like I said, it's not going to be for everybody for sure. But I thought it was a great story and the actors were phenomenal in it for the most part, and Zoe Saldana was truly a standout in my opinion. And Jacques Audiard, his direction is great. The way he framed the visuals and stuff like that, him and the cinematographer did a phenomenal job with the camera work and everything, I thought. And I like his other films, so I'm glad he was able to do another great film. I think he's a great filmmaker. But yeah, 8.5 for me. What about you?
I honestly am not 100% sure what I should give this. I'm probably going to go with like a 6.8.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a good story. I thought it was a good story wasted on a musical that shouldn't have been a musical. As you were talking, you know what? Zoe Saldana did a good job. Everyone did a good job acting. I don't think Zoe Saldana had this amazing performance like you're saying. To me,
I don't know what you saw, bro.
It's as good as every Zoe Saldana performance is.
Not even. There was anything. I find her usually not great or not like amazing, but I actually thought she was actually pretty damn impressive in this.
But when you were describing it, it kind of hit me. This to me seemed like a very high budgeted the musical part of it seemed like a very high budgeted play. It didn't seem like a movie that was a musical. It seemed like they were transitioning something from stage to video, and it was done on a very high budget, on a very high budget that would make it better than what you would see on stage. But to me, it just didn't deliver on the musical, and I try to give it every fucking chance possible. I really did. For someone who does not care for musicals, I tried to give it every chance possible. And again, I would recommend someone watch it simply because the story alone is interesting. The story alone is your payoff.
Mm-hmm.
To me, if you got to basically weather the storm of the first 30 minutes where they do the majority of the musical stuff, and then you're paid off with a good story and everything. And I just, again, 6.8 for me. Mm-hmm. I think you should watch it. I think people should watch it. I think it's an interesting story. I definitely don't think it lit for the hype or whatever it was that's around it. I think it's a little bit overdone. I'm not saying it's not a good movie, but I definitely think it was a little bit overdone. But yeah, I would recommend anybody watch it though, especially because it's on Netflix. You can watch the shit and you're subscribed already. You know, it's definitely worth a watch. I would like to see someone go back and redo this thing and make it a proper movie, like no non-musical, just a proper crime movie.
No,
I think
just make your own. Just make your own story. You know, they don't need to be remade. This movie just came out. Give it 10 years maybe before you do that.
I think this is the thing. This movie,
I'm not saying it could be remade.
It could reach a way bigger audience because it is a good story. It could reach a lot larger audience because it is. Yeah, it is a good story.
It definitely could. There's definitely more ways like that, but at the end of the day, they wanted to make the movie they wanted to make, and I think they accomplished that perfectly. I think clearly they wanted. They know that they would have. If it wouldn't have been them making it a musical, automatically know they lost a portion of the audience.
I honestly would have preferred I would have preferred that the story sucked, because then it's easier to just say, "Yeah, it fucking sucked." Like I don't like it. The problem is that I like the story.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good story. So it's like, fuck, man, really?
But I mean, again, like I said, that's just also you come from a negative perspective on musicals. Regardless, that's a fact. I don't come from a negative perspective, or anybody who doesn't come from that negative perspective is always gonna has a better chance of not of liking this movie, regardless. Because, like I said, the musical element, it's gonna just automatically you're gonna lose a lot of people automatically.
I watch it with my wife. I watched it with my wife who watches musicals. She likes musicals, and she said, I didn't like how they did the musical parts on this.
I guess that's one thing, a criticism that I wish I had was a final big musical number. And we didn't get that,
You know what? I'll tell you this much. I did appreciate the fact that they didn't end it on a big musical number.
Not end the movie on a musical number, that there was one final big musical number, and then they could have ended with no musical and stuff like that. I just wish there was one more, and I think that could have been a musical number, that scene that we were talking about, and everything, and then go into that scene that's not any music and stuff like that, and end it the way it ended. I feel like it was missing one more final musical number that could have just like did a good cap on the whole musical element, in my opinion. So I that is a criticism that I think it was a little bit of a missed opportunity on there. And with that, what scene we're talking about. It's in the trailer. They're like loading guns and stuff like that. I think like you said, there was a rhythm, and they could have built up, and they could have done at least a good final musical number, and that's it, But look, so obviously you thought it was a solid film. I thought it was a really good, really strong, good film. I really think Zoe Saldana, if she gets any awards, it'll be totally justified. She is phenomenal in this movie. I'm not even a big Zoe Saldana fan, actually. I don't really care for her that much, if I'm being honest. I don't think she's a bad actor by any means, but she really impressed the hell out of me. I was actually like, every time I was waiting for her to come back on screen, I was looking forward to seeing her on screen and do another musical number, or just be on screen in general, because I was really into her in this movie, and I thought she knocked it out the park, and I was very impressed. And I wouldn't be surprised if she at least gets a nomination. Will she win? I don't think so, but she was really, really goddamn good. And then Selena Gomez was good. She was strong, but she, like I said, she didn't have as much screen time as the others, but she still did good in her moments. And she played it very well. She has a great scene with Emilia Perez, where they're talking about kind of the past and how she met her husband and stuff like that, which was one of my favorite scenes in the movies. Okay, so you're lukewarm on the movie.
All right, so you guys have it, Emilia Perez on Netflix right now. Give it a watch. Let us know what you guys think. If you think it worked as a musical, if you think it was one of Zoe Saldana's best performances, let us know in the comments what you guys thought about it. Go check it out. This is 24 Chambers of Film. I'm Nathan. This is Steven. Until next time.